Welcome back, everyone. Episode number 20 of the Evening Double podcast. Super excited that we made it to number 20, which was a banter pod with me and Keeton. Just talking about a few things in the news right now and a few things that we're predicting down the line. So, some good races coming up. First, we basically touched on some injury prevention and recovery. We think that's a really important aspect for all runners. Then we just touched on Keeton's race that he has coming up this weekend. He thinks he can run a 4:38 average pace for the 8K, which would put him in some really good company. We just talked real briefly about his race strategy and how he plans on executing it. Talked a little bit about the mile attempt, the world record mile attempt with Josh Kerr down over in London. The field was announced. Got some really good runners and a really good setup for a lot of people to have a great day. And then we just kind of closed on why do you run? Why do you want to run? Why do you want to join a community? What's it like? The difference between running solo and running with people. And here in Louisville, we're really lucky to have so many people that we get the chance to run with, and a lot of times even in workouts at fast paces. It's something that not a lot of people have, but you can always try to find some type of community. There's running clubs everywhere, and we're going to try to start reaching out to some different run clubs in different areas to try to get their idea of what it's like there. So, as always, we really appreciate your support of the Evening Double podcast. We've seen some great growth over this past month. If you do like our pod, feel free to share it with a friend, leave us a rating, like it. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Without further ado, here is episode number 20 of the Evening Double. Episodes in. Here we are.
All right. 20 episodes. Welcome back, everybody, to the Evening Double podcast. Like we just alluded to, it's episode number 20, the big 2-0, 020, as we like to put it in our numerical writings here. Eric and I are here for kind of a free-flowing conversation. We've got some stuff we wanted to touch on and just kind of seeing where this goes. It's a big week for a couple reasons. I'm making my debut in my first U.S. championship. So I'll get to race in the 8K this weekend in Tennessee. So we'll preview that a little bit. Josh Kerr is attempting the mile world record, and they released the official fields for that. So a couple late entries, some surprises. So that'll be fun to talk about a little bit. Valencia Marathon, heavy hitters, Yomif Kajelcha and John Career. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. But I kind of wanted to start a little bit on some of the things that are foundational to even getting to the start line in some of these races that we're going to talk about is, how can we stay healthy and, happy and motivated to keep doing the sport. So we're going to talk a little bit about injury prevention is the way I wanted to first dive into. And so I wanted to ask you, Eric, what would you say is like the most bang for your buck thing that you can do to be healthy?
Yeah, staying healthy, that I think is number one. It's injury prevention's the biggest thing in running that no one does, in my opinion. And I can raise my hand and be like the first person to say, like, I am not great at it either, because you'd rather spend that extra 30 minutes getting in a double or running a few extra miles rather than stretching or doing what you got to do. But I think just getting up, the extra 10 minutes earlier in the morning, if you're a morning runner, and just getting 10 minutes of stretching, good dynamic stretching is key. I think rolling out as well. I learned that the hard way when I got shin splints and calf pain and all that. It was really just from tightness. So I think stretching and rolling out, at least for me, those are the biggest things to try to prevent it, because you'll feel good and you won't think about it. And you're like, oh, I don't really need to stretch. I don't really need to roll. And then all of a sudden it comes back and bites you in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the way it always kind of, it never like subtly warns you. It's usually kind of you wake up the next day and you're pretty sore for some reason and you're like, oh shoot. that crept up on me. Um, Whether that be from something you haven't done, like a new stimulus, or just kind of like being um, like ignoring some of the signs and symptoms, or just really being neglectful of the little things. So we know it. It's the worst thing to do, I think. It's the hardest thing to do. So anybody out there, just know that everybody struggles with that. And I'm sure you, like, professionals that get paid to do it still don't want to do it. It's the most boring part of the sport. It makes the easy mileage that is very like unglamorous, or like not sexy. It makes it feel glamorous, because of how non-glamorous rolling out is every night. But a big thing is just, I think, warming up the muscles, being consistent in mileage and intensity. Don't do anything that, like, don't skip a couple days and then try to make up for it and then go extra hard, or like, oh, I'm going to rip this because I missed something else. I think those kind of things kind of play into injury too. And it's kind of hard to get carried away, or it's kind of easy to get carried away and get into that kind of cycle of trying to make it up or squeeze it in, when in reality that you should probably take that extra time that you need to cram something in, and focus on something that's going to be productive for your health, like rolling out, stretching, hitting the weight room a little bit, and doing some of the injury prevention from a strength and conditioning side. I know I do some of that, implemented into mine. I should probably be better at it. Eric, do you do any specific lifting routines, or any target areas that you think are, you know, your best, or maybe your specific areas that you do to prevent anything?
Yeah, I would say my hamstrings are the weakest part of my body, and I just keep trying to work on them, but they are so weak. Like my quads and thighs areas, that they're very strong. I feel like most runners have really strong there, but the hamstrings are just so weak, and I felt it before at the end of races, like start like cramping up because they're just weak, especially when you do a hilly course like Boston. You really feel it, especially those downhills. Just those the That's the weakest part of my body and the thing that I try to work on the most, and also my hips. That's the other thing. And what I've been doing a lot lately is Pilates. I think Pilates is key. We're gonna have a whole chat with my girlfriend, who's a Pilates instructor, to talk about why it's good for running and how you can get specific with it, which has been really good for me. But I think that's a key aspect, at least from my side. Doing Pilates, which is a lot of core, hip strengthening, and you can work in, honestly, you can target any muscles, but we've been targeting hips and hamstrings. Those are my weak spots.
Yeah, that's I think, when I was in high school, anytime we would go see the trainer for any specific reason, I feel like you could tell her your pinky was sore, and she would say it was probably because you have weak hips. So we used to joke about that all the time, but in reality, as I've gotten older, and I'm in the like the science world, and like understanding the body and biomechanics and everything, the hips kind of do, um like, you have to prioritize the hips and the hip health, because when your body's going through what they call like triple extension, and that's of the hip, the knee, and the ankle, it kind of all starts up at the hips. If your hips and glutes are not firing properly, or locked up, misaligned, that can cause a lot of issues with, foot strike, your gait. You could be compensating on something, and it caused a lot more damage than it would be, than if your hips were aligned, or you're strengthening more, doing something like that. I did, I've done way too many. Well, not too many. I probably haven't done enough, but I've done so many like banded hip exercises before runs, and that was a big thing. Grant Fisher was like the big, um, like, I would say, the start of that. I don't know if anybody ever saw the viral video of Grant Fisher. Like, he had a band under, like, on each arm, his above his knee, and then at his ankles, and he was like doing running motion while stepping side to side, and everybody started buying bands off Amazon, and we're doing that. And I included. I think it's a great tool to like activate in the muscles and strengthen. So shout out Grant Fisher for starting the trend of bands, or at least making it popularized, because it was posted on Instagram one time. But I was gonna say that in college, for us, we did more of a traditional. strength and conditioning routine. We went through a couple variations. We had, I think, two different strength coaches during the time I was there, and they were all gathered around injury prevention. We weren't there to maximize we weren't there to hit max lifts on our bench press, on our squats. Did we get heavy every now and then? Yes. That was more during cross country season as we were like building strong foundations, really trying to bulletproof our muscles. And then as we were getting into track season, it was a little bit more explosiveness, plyos, some hops, some quicker repetitions, quicker movements because of the explosiveness and speed you might need on the track. But I think that the easiest thing people can do is, you know, squats and lunges, find a routine, strengthen the hips and the ankles, and really just kind of focus on those areas. If you've got anything that um, bothers you, just research into tips and tricks to strengthen it and be healthy with it and be consistent is the way I think it is. Everybody's going to have something that is like on the verge of probably just being annoying. But if you strengthen it and are diligent in your little things, then it probably will be just fine.
Are you getting ready for your next training block, chasing a PR, training for your first marathon? Or maybe you're just tired of getting generic training plans and AI coaches that are giving you impossible splits? That's where we come in. If you're looking for coaching that's actually built around you, your schedule, your goals, and your life, we'd love to help. I coach through KT Running Company, specializing in individualized run coaching for any athlete from high school, college, and road racing looking to reach the next level. Eric coaches through Stride Core Fitness, offering personalized run coaching along with strength training and Pilates to help you stay healthy, build durability, and perform your best. If you're interested in working with either of us, send us a message on Instagram or check out the links in the show notes to schedule a free call. We'd love to learn about your goals and help you put together a plan that actually works for you. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing is, when something hurts or whatever, it's easy to continue, know what's going on and roll it out and stretch it and do all that. But then, you start feeling better and you can't just stop doing it. It's so easy to do. But yeah, let's transition a little bit. We talked about it slightly um last week, a couple pods ago about the AK champs. We're a few days out. Just wanted to hear, I mean, the main thing is give me were there any changes going up to it? What's the weather looking like? For you, and what's going to be your race strategy? Or is it more of a game day type of I'm gonna rip it then and figure it out, or you got the strategy down?
Um, I think the strategy could change. I think I'm probably going to go into it with two or three different plans that I think could happen. And just the biggest thing for me is being able to quickly decide which scenario I'm going to have to go with and just fully commit to it. I don't think that this is going to be a time where I can be wishy washy and like, oh, I'll wait a mile or I'll wait a little bit. Like the race is only 5 miles. So a lot of it's going to be probably going out in 5K, close to my 5K PR. I've done that multiple
Mm.
times in cross country races in college and just have to trust that I built the strength and the endurance side of things to be able to withstand that. I did I did look at the weather a little bit. It's looking a little bit nicer than it is here. But now it's showing some rain in the forecast on Saturday. But it looks like it'll clear up. I think it looks like it'll rain all afternoon, but the race is about 9 p.m. It's like 8:50. So it's looking about 78, 77 at race time and cloudy, obviously, as the sun's starting to set. So hopefully it's not too bad. I am excited that this is a night race. I've done a couple night races. I don't know if you've ever done a night race, Eric. They are just electric. I think they're super cool. So that's going to be exciting. I don't think I'm just going to be ready that the first mile is going to be really fast and aggressive. So what I did in my last tune-up workout was I ran a hard mile after a little bit of some threshold just to kind of jumpstart it, like shock the system a little bit, and then did some like race pace slightly faster, race pace 400s off short rest, and then finished off with a little bit of threshold just to not go too far into the well, but prepare myself and prepare my legs for a sub 430 mile. which could very well be the first mile. So, or it could be like the fourth mile, depending on how the race really plays out. Someone making a move. So, just tried to stimulate the legs a little bit to that and get used to it, and then just gonna try and be really competitive is all I can really do. There's gonna be some good guys in it. Some sub 14 5K guys for sure. Some of those guys that are knocking on the 1320s, 13 teens that have been there, done that. So this is my first one. I think maybe I can be a little naive and use that to my advantage and just say, you know what, F it, I'm gonna send it. But overall, just knowing that I can be there, I can be confident in, it, but just not don't shoot myself in the foot and do anything stupid early that'll cost me. So gonna have to really kind of dial in the effort and intention in the first mile so I don't get like overzealous and burn up too much energy in the beginning just because I'm out there.
Is this gonna be a dumb question? Is this on a track?
No, this is a road race.
Oh, it's all on the road. Is it
Yeah.
like a loop?
Yeah, it's the meet itself is called like the Crazy Eights. Um they do like you do like a figure eight under the lights. I'll have to see
Hmm.
if I can show the cool picture that they have from the race a couple years
So
ago.
is it like in the town or
Yeah, it's around a campus, I believe, and then you finish in the stadium, I think.
okay.
Um, yeah, so I don't know if I'll have to see if I can for all of our listeners here on on Spotify. I don't know if that's dark enough to
Yeah,
see.
you can kind of see it.
Maybe I'll turn it down just a touch more. But it's a real cool atmosphere. They got a bunch of lights and street lights. It looks to be pretty lit up. I think it so like I said, I think it's around a campus. It says Fred Johnson Stadium in Kingsport, Tennessee. Not sure what university that is, but yeah, it's gonna look pretty good. I think it's around a high school campus actually. But it
Interesting.
seems to be pretty lit up because of that, so that's good. And they alter it or they promote it as the world's fastest 8K. I'm looking at the elevation plot right now. Um, let's see. Looks
I
like it's
imagine there's probably not too much.
no. It looks like you roll, then you go down, you kind of come up in increments, and then it flattens out, and you just kind of run flat toward the end. But it makes a big figure eight or abstract figure eight. So,
That's cool. That's
but
cool.
yeah,
That's great. So basically you just want to stay competitive, don't want to go out too hot, but you also want to make sure that you stay in some sort of pack. Is that basically what we're getting at?
yeah, probably so. It'd probably be advantageous for me to not get stuck in no man's land.
Yeah.
Um, But if it's like something that's a little over my head, I probably should back off just a touch so that if it's early. But also got to just kind of trust that I think I can be there. I think I'm fit enough to do it. So I'll be excited to just test it and be happy with any outcome. Really, is going to be the biggest thing. Just grateful to be out there and doing this is the biggest thing I'm taking away with it. And then I get to go on vacation right after. So nice little lead into some downtime away from work and get to spend time with the wife at we're going to drive down to Florida afterwards, so kind of breaking up the drive Friday going down to the race, then racing obviously, and then finishing the drive down to Florida on Sunday morning. So we'll be good race or bad race, I'll be at the beach on Sunday, so
There you
can't be
go.
too bad.
What part of Florida?
We're going to West Palm.
Oh, you're going way down. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty far down. It's gonna make
Yeah.
the drive back kind of terrible. So
Yeah. It
yeah,
will.
hopefully
We're
I'll have a
fine.
couple evening doubles bankrolled for the drive.
There you
Have
go.
to
We
listen to
we
us.
had we're having we're going down to Gulf Shores Friday
Oh,
just for like
nice.
a weekend getaway. Nice Allegiant flight here from Louisville. It's
Heck
cheap,
yeah.
like
Gulf Shores is a good
120 bucks
spot.
round trip. Yeah, and I haven't been there, so looking forward to it. I was doing math. I want to hear if this is correct. So 8K is 4.97 miles, right?
Yep.
If you want to get specific, I mean, I know we usually just say 5, but
Yeah.
4.97. You think that you're in 33-minute shape?
23 minute shape.
I'm sorry, 23-minute shape.
Yep.
right?
It should
So
work out to about 444, 443,
yeah, see, I was coming up with 438.
38. Yeah, that sounds about right.
438. So that you think that's possible? 438?
Yeah, my best is 2333.
Okay.
Did that on a pretty soft grass course in Florida. And obviously the weather there was actually really nice. I'm sitting on I vlogged that whole trip when I ran 2333, and I'm sitting on all the footage. It's like fully edited. I haven't posted it. Maybe comment if you want to
Yep.
see the ASUN Championship vlog that I made that never made the light of day. But so I think, a combination of more fitness experience, the roads with, fancy shoes, I think that'll help a lot too.
I would
So
think so. I would have to imagine that the roads are faster.
here, yeah, it's a weird thing. I was gonna touch on this a little bit with like spikes. Like I know that you probably have never worn a pair of spikes,
I
and
have not.
I was listening to Chris talk about whether or not he would spike up for this 5K attempt at the Life is Stride 5K night, and I was like, well, I can't even believe that. Like it's hard to believe that he hasn't tried out the super spikes,
Yeah.
which I think definitely help, especially if you're going to do anything like 5K or under, because of how aggressive it is. I don't think they're advantageous for a 10K unless you're just like top class in the world, because I think the super shoes, like a Vaporfly and Alphafly, the Pumas, whichever one you fancy, to feel good at the end, to where a spike might be better for you on a track, you still have to get to the end, and that shoe might be the way you get to the end. So it might not be good for you to wear a spike if you can't, like, if it beats your legs up too quick too early for it to even play into the end of the race. So I'm a big fan of the super shoes. I actually wore them in a 10K in college on the track, and I felt perfectly fine the next day. I could have worked out the next day at that point. It felt that easy on the body. So if I were Chris, if you're listening, super shoes on the track for a 5K is going to be your way to go. But
What are you wearing on this weekend?
I think I'm gonna wear that Alpha Fly. I tested
You
out
got
at the
down.
Bluegrass. I enjoyed it. I was not sore the next day, which was nice. I was actually was only a little sunburned from the lake trip afterwards, so I was not sore, but I was sunburned. Um, so yeah, I think it's a good shoe. It might not be the most aggressive, but I think if I'm gonna like try and rip an aggressive pace, that'll give me a little bit more, I guess, forgiveness on the body, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So I'm
Yeah,
kind
that
of
makes sense.
opting for a little more forgiveness and less aggressive shoe choice. So I do have like the Nike makes the Streak Fly, and then they have the Vapor Fly, and then the Alpha Fly. It's like marathon, probably half marathon and to 10K, and then that Streak Fly might be more oriented for track training, and then like if you're gonna run a road mile or something. I just think like I put it on, I would have done it in a road mile, but I still think that it's just a little aggressive. The Vaporfly and Alphafly just got. I just think that they're a good shoe. I haven't really tried any of the
Yeah.
other brands, so. And if any brand listens to this, want to send me some recommendations, send me a pair. Would love to wear them for publicity at the USA Championships. So I'm an open billboard. You can send me some products, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna go Alphafly for now.
that'd be great. I'm Alpha Fly too. For I'm in a tobacco for the that Life in Stride night. I'm happy that they're doing that to give some people an opportunity here. But I want to do both. They're doing a mile and a 5K, and I
Yeah,
want to do both. I know I can't do both, but I don't know which one I want to do more. I think I'm leaning towards the 5K just because I'm not a mile type of person. I'm not a
yeah,
5K type of person either. But like I ran 442 like a year and a half ago in a Santa outfit in Florida. That's
gotcha.
my PR. So, like, I feel like I can set, like, a significant PR doing on track, but the same thing with a 5K. I just feel like a 5K around a track could be super fast. So,
Yeah.
what
They,
what should I do?
I think, you've done like a big summer of speed, I think what's going to be more meaningful for you is like a 5K PB.
That's what
But
I think too.
I also think like, man, they're going to have pace lights. It's going to be a great setup. I'm torn right now. Like my whole plan, this whole block was to end this weekend and take a downtime.
Yeah.
But then like they have pace lights and things for the mile, and I was trying to debate whether or not I recruit somebody to try and pace me through 800 and try to break 4 minutes, or call it a season and get ready for this half marathon. So I'm in a little bit of a dilemma, but yeah. What do you think?
For me, I think I'm gonna do the 5K.
Yeah.
As much as I want to do the mile, I was talking to Sam Merritt. He said it right. He's like, dude, you could run a mile any weekend if you wanted to. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna run like a 4-minute mile like you, but for me, like, I could time trial a mile like whenever I wanted to, probably if I
Yeah.
wanted. I just had to find a track. But the 5K, having like some people with some competition and stuff, you don't get that very much on a track, especially. So I think I'm gonna go with that. Um, but
You're
yeah,
gonna
that's
say,
got.
do I know like when I was in college, we like when you run like different races and things that would qualify for like world athletics points rankings, um, then like it's got a list of your actual results. So I was just curious. Yeah, I just found it. Did you know that you have a world athletics profile?
I do.
Yeah, but that's why I was curious.
No.
I was like, well, if you run the mile or the 5K, it's always cool to have something attached that's like tangible that someone could see. Not that we do it for people to see, but it's cool to like for me to like collectively have like some of my PRs and things in like an organized system. So yeah. Eric Stotterman, United States, he's a marathoner.
Oh
'08
yeah.
November
Look at that.
25, you ran 2:34:35 in Indianapolis.
Yep. I see. I just pulled it up. I never know that.
There you go. So yeah, World Athletics
I
is
got a
pretty cool.
score.
I guess see more performances. Let's see. I think it's just got Indy. So depending on what the race is, obviously like the Life and Stride one will not show up on the World Athletics homepage. Um, but yeah, if any of you guys have ever run a marathon, and one of the bigger ones like an Indy, CIM, a major, I'm pretty positive that you will have your own World Athletics thing, and it'll have your performance up there, which is pretty cool.
And they
And
they
then,
they go by gun time, not chip time. I see that.
oh, is it?
Because yeah, I mean, I was pretty sure I was 23, so that's 12 seconds. It says 35,
Oh
34,
no,
35.
yeah, they can't
And
be
then
short. Yeah.
and down here it goes a head-to-head performance, and they put me up against Joseph Whalen, bro. And I'm obviously I lost. Like
Well,
that's not
that's not
fair.
head to head though. Well, I guess it is head to head.
Yeah, it says head-to-head,
Oh
bro.
shoot.
Yeah, he ran 2:12. Well, yeah, I'm probably gonna lose that one. That's not
Yeah. So
fair.
I was gonna say
Another
either
one
way,
just
those results aren't gonna like show up on World Athletics.
Ryan
And you
Carney. Shout out Ryan Carney. I just looked at he's on there. He
sweet.
ran 2:28:29. I don't know. It's very weird. I'm like, there must have been just people here that I ran
Yeah, it's probably
against
people
in
that were
every
in that
single person
race.
on here is with.
Um, is usually how it goes. I feel like anytime I've ever looked at mine, because sometimes in races, if I'm applying for a race to get in, then I'll need to submit proof of performance. And usually I use my World Athletics, or in college they use TFRS, which is
That makes sense.
a good place to look. It's also kind of cool if you're running a race like this one in the USA 8K. If I don't know a name on the list and I'm just curious, like, oh, I wonder, how good this person is, just to kind of get a depth check on the field. You can always like type in their name and put World Athletics, and usually it pops up what they've done. So that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, but
Yeah, I
overall, we
just
went
pulled
on a
up.
tangent there. But
Yeah,
what
no, I
you
pulled up yours. I just see the Ace Sun Indoor, and then PNC Lenny Lyles Open. That was your
Yeah,
fastest.
Yeah, I think it's 401.04.
Yep.
I ran I'm just an O guy or something. I just run everything that's O. Uh, so if you ever want a guy that's close to breaking a barrier, call me in.
We then they came up with 1 mile men fastest. Cameron Myers,
Yeah,
second.
347.
And
That is
Goose
cool.
third.
Like
Old
right
Hawker.
now, it looks like I'm 341st in the world in the
Dude, that's
mile.
pretty good.
I mean, it seems like it. Seems like it's not
I
very
would
good,
think
but at the
so.
same time, it seems like it's pretty good.
No, I mean, everyone. I mean, you're 401.04, right?
Yeah,
That is a complete tangent.
yeah, you got to go through. Yeah,
401. There he is. 341. Keaton Thornsberry.
there we go.
Nice.
Shout out
Okay.
World Athletics for doing their due
Yeah,
diligence.
that's cool. That's cool. I never even knew that.
Yeah.
Someone might have said that to me, but I don't
Speaking of milers, let's get right into it. Josh Kerr, mile world record attempt this Saturday in the London Diamond League. Have you been following any of his like YouTube stuff with his build up for this? Oh, look
Not
at
a
this.
ton.
Wait 1 second. I just opened up my phone because I wanted to see the start list that I had screenshotted, and a YouTube notification for Josh Kerr video just popped up. So Josh is listening to me. My CIA agent is listening and putting the right content in front of me. So thank you, CIA agent. But yeah, do you think he can get it? And have you been following any of that YouTube stuff that he's been putting out? It's been some pretty good
I have
content.
not. I have not been following the YouTube stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a huge YouTube guy, but I have been kind of following. Um, I saw that the field came out. I saw a couple of things they did. We spoke on it last time about like being in his that altitude tent for 12
Yeah.
hours. I mean, I guess it's a lot of it's like sleeping time, but still. I was just reading this on Let's Run, just kind of break down why he's doing it in London. Last year was in Paris, I guess. His race, his rules.
That's the way it seems to be.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a coincidence that Cam Myers is not in this Diamond League race.
yeah. But I'm looking here. He says I'm in charge of the race. Oh wait, yeah. So, however, he's not in charge of the field. So, like they're saying, like if Hawker or Ingebrigtsen want it in, they can do it.
I think that's probably true and false at the same time, if that can be
Hmm.
a thing. He was on the Let's Run podcast as a guest earlier this year when
Mm-hmm.
they first announced the project.
Mm-hmm.
And he explicitly said that he's kind of got the say on who it is and what it is, or who's coming in the race itself. I'm sure that there are some other politics in there that he can't have full definitive say, but he can probably have some leeway. Um,
Yeah.
I think that this field itself is cultivated for him to be right behind the Pacers and then be taken to the line with some really fast people, and ultimately he's going to try and pull away over the last 200. When they announced that Yard Naguse was entered in this field, he's been on a tear this year. He did lose to Cam Myers in the Diamond League in Eugene, but he won. He went on a heater and won 2 Diamond League races in a row over the 1500. Slightly slower races, but it was good to see him in good form again. And his mile PB is 3 minutes and 43 seconds. The world record is 3 minutes and 43 seconds. A little bit lower on the tenths and hundredths, but he's a guy that has been there, gone to the line with Jakob in a 3:43 race. If a world record is going to happen, I believe that Yard is going to be in contention with 100 meters to go. And if he gets beat, he gets beat. I think they're going to be dang close, but I think they will be neck and neck until the last 10 meters. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that he would need, or either of them would need to be able to do it. I don't think you could
Yeah.
do it alone. I know you can stay with the Pacers, but I think you need someone to be competing with, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I do think I've been in races where I've been the chaser and I've been the one chased. If when I am being chased, you can have it two ways. If you're already kind of hurting, you're probably going to panic a little bit, and it might force you to kind of maybe falter a little bit under it. But also, I've been in a race where someone's right behind you, breathing down your neck, and it only motivates you to keep going and keep driving. And I've also been in races where like you're flying solo and you've never felt better, or you're kind of in no man's land and you feel terrible. So, but I think to be ultimately pushed over the edge where no one's ever been before, I think 2 is going to have to be the number. The world record itself, Hisham El Grouge in 99 ran it with somebody to the line. He was pushed all the way to the line by another athlete. I'm forgetting on his name, but yeah, so I think if you're going to run, so the 343 races that had 2 athletes do it were 2 people going neck and neck to the line. So if someone's going to do it, I think it's got to be 2 people pushing each other all the way. But
So fast, man. It's so
so fast.
fast.
It's just like incomprehensible to even like wrap your head around. That's
No.
what I was listening to our buddies over at Out and Back, and they were talking about how like Rory has more followers on YouTube and more subs and more, I guess, views than Josh Kerr, who is attempting to do something nobody's ever done before. The quality of his content is unbelievable. Like, it's great stuff, but it's just like, I don't think it's necessarily relatable. So like people aren't going to listen to it or watch it as much.
Fair.
But it's pretty cool stuff. He's running some crazy stuff. If you're ever out at a local high school track, go and try and run a 27-200 and imagine doing that for a full mile or something, just to get
I mean,
just
how
to get
about
that pace
100?
wrapped around you.
Yeah, how about 100 meters? 50
Yeah,
meters?
yeah. Just go out there and do it. I have a funny story. My mom tells this all the time. We used to live. My parents live pretty close to where I went to high school, and I remember going to the track one night. When I was fairly young, I was pretty new into the sport, but in my head, I was like, "Oh yeah, I can go run a 4-minute mile." And I was like, "Mom, come time me." And so I had her go out with me. And I remember making it like 200 meters in 30 seconds and then like collapsed and being like, "Oh yeah, shoot, there's no way I could do this." So anybody out there that's feeling inspired, go out there and try to run 200 meters at world record pace. Uh, and you'll have an appreciation for how fast these guys are going. So crazy. But I did want to highlight couple more people in the field. Simeon Birnbaum of Oregon, University of Oregon. He's still in college, and he got, I think he was sick, and so he ended up not being in the Bowerman Mile last week at pre under his home crowd, which would have been cool. But he just ran the collegiate record, so he's the fastest NCAA guy in history. 331 in the 1500, which probably roughly translates to about a 346 mile. And then Ethan Strand, former North Carolina standout, he was on the world championship team last year for the U.S. So 3 out, and Hobbs Kessler, who was 5th in the Olympics, and Nathan Green, who was the U.S. indoor champion in the 1500 this year. So loaded American field. I'm excited. I really hope that Josh Kerr sets it up perfectly for an American to steal a world record in England.
That'd be
So
crazy.
that would be pretty awesome. But
No,
we'll
that'd be
see.
it. I mean, they have everything set up for it to happen, so it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. Another good thing, good combo, good duel, as you might say, is John Career and Yomif Kajelcha in Valencia that was announced. What do you take on it? Do you think who's your early pick to win?
It's hard to go. I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, but it's hard to go against
Kajelcha.
Conventia. I forget it.
I
It's
just
hard to
call him
go
by
against him. I
yeah,
mean, what was that? His second ever marathon that he broke 2 hours in? First ever marathon.
first
I mean,
debut.
but
He's the only man in history to not run over 2 hours in a marathon.
So it's interesting. That's true. It's interesting because Valencia is really flat and fast, right?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see is career can he take it to that next level on the flat and fast? You know,
That's a good
he's
point.
he's he's really good on the hills. Like he's won Boston the last 2 years now. Um, can he take that same probably like pace adjusted speed is probably darn close to the 2 hour mark. If it was flat, I don't know. In my opinion, if he
Yeah.
did Boston that in 201 high, 20, I'm blanking now.
Yeah, and he closed the, I think his last half marathon was sub 60, was 59 something.
Yeah. So
So,
if he can, I would love to see career. I would say, in my opinion, but I would have to give the advantage to the guy
yeah.
in the just flatter, faster. I think he's in his first marathon too. Like, eh, I don't know how much faster a person can get in the marathon, but I say that he gets some. I mean, the amount of kick that he had in London was kind of crazy. So that's my 2 cents.
John Career, if you're listening to this, I would really like you to start posting back on Strava again. He used to post a lot. He doesn't post anymore. I believe he's out training in Colorado right now. His last Strava post is it's actually from June 27th, this 2026. So he has posted a little bit recently, but his big graph is just like flat line, real high jump, and then flat line again. So he's
Yeah,
very someone probably puts him under wraps of his training and stuff, so no one gets to steal his ideas. Like anybody can actually do the training that he does. But that's besides the point. His last run is a 20.5 mile long run at 5:30 pace in Colorado. So
sure.
that would be so he's out training at altitude, staying here in the US for a little bit. So that's pretty cool. Love that the US has great training grounds for elite athletes and marathoners to come
For
to,
sure.
even though, Kenya is at altitude and he could easily do that from probably a convenient standpoint. But it's cool that America has some destination places for athletes to train. I've gotten to
Sure.
run at a couple for a little bit. Would love to live a full training life and do blocks out there. That'd be really cool. So, um, but yeah, I think Yomif, he's known to like be the ultimate second placer. He just always loses,
Hmm.
except for like some regular season Diamond League 5Ks. But he like is always third, fourth, second in the World Championships and Olympics, and he's second in Berlin to um, Sebastian Sawe, despite running 159. John Career, I think if he's going to run away in the second half, this is going to be the only man he can't break, and it's going to come down
Mhm.
to a foot race. So that'd be pretty cool to see. I don't think anybody's going to be broken. I think it's just going to be who's got the last little bit and the last maybe even half mile. So it'll be exciting to see. Yomif is not going to be a guy that's going to break easy. So
Yeah, no kidding. Two fast races going on that same day, CIM and Valencia.
both are on December 6th.
Yeah.
Nice.
Uh, I think so. I think
Are
so.
you
It's
are
at
you
least the
in
same weekend.
CIM?
Yeah, I'm CIM.
Nice. I'll be paying attention to CIM, Eric Stotterman live tracker over John Career and Yomif in Valencia, by the way.
A little different timing. I think they're going to be about 9 hours apart.
Yeah. Yeah, we should be able to I should be able to wake up to results from it and then watch the live tracker. Do they do a live stream of CIM, or is it all
I don't know.
just live tracking? That would be pretty
I don't
cool.
know.
Hopefully, since they've expanded the field, that they've expanded the budget to do some live
That's
footage, live
next
coverage would
year.
be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk a little bit about, we're getting ready for I'm getting ready to kind of wrap up my season and then start the block. You've started your block for the fall. I think one thing is the hardest thing to do is doing it alone. I wanted to talk a little bit about like how you think having not necessarily an official team, but like groups of friends and community and people around you, how that can elevate you in whatever way it may be, whether that be physically from your running or, mentally from your quality of life. Um,
Yeah, no,
Talk a little bit
that's
about your experiences with it and where you think it can come in play for everybody out there who's maybe nervous to go to a group run or just kind of hanging on the outskirts, seeing people post Strava activities together, but don't run with anybody.
That's a great question, and the number one thing I can say to that is I moved here to Louisville in January 25, and literally the first thing I did, I don't even think we unpacked yet, I went to a running store to try to find a running community. First thing I did. So I ended up going to Ken Combs, shout out Matt Muller. He got me hooked up with Corf Edge, with all those guys, and that's how I met them. That's how I met a lot of the fast guys here that I run with now, and rest is history. I mean, to have a group to be able to do workouts with is awesome. I'm an only child, very independent person, but I love being able to run with people. I do like doing some workouts alone. I think you do need to do that as a runner because you're probably not going to be running with many people in races, especially marathons. But at the same time, there's maybe 15-20% of your running is actually a workout. A lot of it's just easy runs, and that's those miles that just can be bears by yourself. We love, you listen to us on a solo run for the evening double or whatever, but it's always, be honest, it's nicer to join a group and have people to run with, in the morning, afternoon, whenever it may be. It's just one person. It's just nice to be able to talk to somebody when you're out there.
Yeah, I think that's well said, perfectly said. Really, the that's a good point on, your workout days are a small percentage of your weekly mileage, unless it's like the longest day it could be is a long run day. And there are, especially if you're in Louisville, there are a lot of people meeting at Seneca on Saturdays doing variations of quality long runs with threshold marathon pace pickups, just maybe a chill one with some up tempo stuff. So that's always, you know, that's going to be the easier stuff to find is a group long run. So if you're struggling to, find that sense of community, something to get you out the door on a weekend, especially after a long week, you know, reach out to someone that's in that group run and say like, "Hey, I'll see you then. Like, what time are you guys going?" Give yourself a little bit of the like illusion that there is no choice. Like, make it think in your head like, "Oh, this is team practice," and then it'll start being in your routine. And I really think it can only elevate you. Running solo is, I think, a pretty hard thing to stay consistent with, especially if you're someone that might not have the best ability to balance like routines of work and life. It's always easier to, have a buddy that's kind of almost like your accountability buddy in the sense of like, hey, I'm going to meet them after work. I'm going to meet the group. Um, and like that can help elevate you, just I think mentally for the most part is, you know, we are like social beings, and we've got um energy that needs to be burned socially. Not We're not made to be put on this world and just sit alone in our own thoughts. That could be probably daunting for a lot of people. So find a group to run with. That's the best thing I can think of. That kind of goes into like surrounding yourself with people who are oriented toward the goals you're headed towards too. So they can probably give you a lot of tips and tricks of their experiences, strategies for races, hookups for different types of shoes that you might want to try, some different things. So you can probably geek out over some running stuff too, but then just meet some good people and have fun is pretty awesome. I love seeing um, some of the coolers open up on Saturdays after long runs, and people are, having an adult beverage or some sparkling water or some Gatorades and just kind of hanging out. And the community aspect is super cool. I even showed up to the workout on Saturday at Seneca, and you guys were all finishing up, and it was good to see you guys. And I was like, yeah, it kind of gave me a little bit of extra lift knowing like I'm not out here just alone doing this. People are chasing their goals. I'm going to chase mine. And so that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, I can't say any better. I think that's a good way to wrap episode number 20 here. of the evening double. Go find a run group.
Yeah. I was gonna say the comment and leave us a comment if you guys have a desire. Maybe we can create a Monday or a Tuesday kind of evening double per se. Um, we might have to make an activity or make an event based off of our name and get a group run or something together. So leave us a comment if you guys want to do a group run. Maybe we'll start doing one in the evenings. That are just kind of open invite to anything. But yeah, that seems to be pretty much all I've got. We've got some fun stuff coming up soon. Just a little bit of a hint. A potential in-person guest maybe later this summer. Um, he, I'm not going to even spoil it, but it'd be a pretty epic in-person guest, especially our first
Yeah.
in-person guest. So looking to do that. He's pretty popular. Everybody kind of knows him and loves him. So that'd be a great one. But we've got some cool guests coming up in the next week with some race directors, kind of getting the ins and outs of all the questions you probably have of, why are the waves split the way they are? What's the politics on entry times acceptances? We would love to get the New York Road Runners Association on. Tell me why Eric gets snubbed every year, but this is not our guest yet. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I don't think they want to come on.
No, he won't. But that's because we're too selective. We
Yeah.
only want the best for you guys, and if they're not going to let Eric in the race, then they're not the best. So,
Yep. All right. Well, this was episode number 20 of Evening Double. We appreciate you listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
peace.